your rate of efficiency goes to shit.
Yeah.
So now when you start gaining the weight back, you're actually accumulating more fat than you are muscle.
Yeah.
So now metabolically, you're just suppressed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's with any demographic, fighter, physique, whatever, you've got to keep the metabolism as efficient as possible.
All right, so we just wrapped up a podcast with my man Alan Kress. Now, Alan is a specialist when it comes to functional health. And when you're talking about, we're talking about building natural testosterone. I also want to talk about what are the nutritional things that we could do, maybe from eating to supplementation, that is going to naturally bring up males or females testosterone.
Yeah. From a food perspective, you want to go back to look like what makes testosterone in our body. So like, where's your precursor hormone? Your precursor hormone is obviously, well, not hormone, nutrient is going to be cholesterol, right? So from cholesterol is where you're making your testosterone. Where's cholesterol come from? What foods are you eating cholesterol from? What macronutrient? So that's going to be your fats, right? So you're looking at, you need all omegas. So obviously everybody talks about omega-3s, like you need your omega-3s, but you still need omega-6, you need omega-9. It's just in smaller percentages than what you need omega-3s. So obviously when you're eating those foods, you need something that's more predominantly omega-3s. So obviously you're looking at like wild-caught salmon, whole eggs, grass-fed steaks, even like oils. So you're looking at avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, from avocado in and of itself. Just everybody loves guacamole. It's gonna be the same thing. You need to have enough fats in your diet to basically support and or bring up your testosterone levels. And it's literally simple as that. Like, you just need to keep fat intake at a certain level. I'd say for a male, the bottom threshold for me, now obviously statistics will make a difference in muscle mass, but bottom threshold would be around 40 grams, 45 grams, and that's like low end. But some people, that's enough, because you don't want to also get into the mindset of the more is better. So 45 grams of fat is okay. 60, 70 grams is really good. Doesn't mean 120 or 130 grams of fat is great. Like there's a diminishing returns at some point, right? Like, just like 300 grams of carbs is great. 1,000 grams of carbs, that's probably a little bit too much for a lot of people, right? So it's a balance with this stuff. So we need the fats in there, primarily from whole food sources and oils, like good oils. You need saturated fats in there to a degree as well. But again, where is it coming from? Is it coming from ghee, coconut oil? I like ghee. Right? Two great things to add in. That's very easy, and that's going to help testosterone production in and of itself. From a supplemental perspective, it gets a little tricky with the studies that's been done, the research on different types of nutrients. I mean, one that I really like is maca root. I've seen the most kind of research with that one to be able to be very confident of what it does. Tribulus, you're going to see that as well, but you also got to look from the component of even supplementing with omega-3s, because you're getting concentrated sources and making sure you're getting enough of them. Because, I mean, obviously food is your base, but then supplements, obviously supplementing what you can't get from a concentrated form in foods, because you can't always get enough from a food. And that's where supplements definitely come in, especially for someone that's a performance athlete, right? Or that's very active. They're going to be depleting stuff a lot. Outside of those two, I mean, you can look at deer antler. That's another one that we've played with. That actually we've used it with females and males, and it does a pretty good job. Now there's going to be 1,000 other things that out there are marketed for testosterone, but in the reality, from a natural support, you can only bring it up to a certain degree, right? So if you are in a low physiological range, like if it's really low.
Let's go over that. What's the low ranges that you see?
I would say optimal levels for health and even performance, I wouldn't want to see somebody under 450, 475. Okay. Now again, base that off of their symptoms as well, how they feel. Like if you're at 475 and you have no energy, no libido, no sex drive, that's probably like very suboptimal for what you need to be taking in. Gotcha. So the upper end threshold going to be 900 to 1,000, but typically in someone that's natural, you're not going to see a level typically above 750, 800 from a natural perspective.
Okay.
If you see it above that, you know, there's something else in the mix there, typically.
Gotcha. Now, when is it appropriate for anyone to get on testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy?
When I see their levels under, like I'm going to compare their levels with their age. So if their levels are going to be under around 350, you're pushing the border of like, it's not as likely if they're 350 and they're like 40 years old. I mean, testosterone declines over time naturally anyways. Not likely they're going to bring it back up naturally from a supplement standpoint. You're probably going to have replacement therapy.
Gotcha.
If they're a 20-year-old at 375, 400, as long as you do some nutritional stuff, management and recovery, supplementation, you'll likely be able to bring them back up from a natural perspective. Actually, hydration. Just talk hydration.
Yeah.
That in and of itself, because you look at the trickle effect, right? If you're dehydrated, then that's going to slow down digestion. That's going to slow absorption of nutrients into your system. It's also going to keep you from having, good digestion, regular bowel movements for excretion of toxins. So you get toxic buildup if you're not properly hydrated. Because a lot of times, like people that have, like if they're constipated, just drink more water. It's the easiest thing in the world. Drink more water, electrolyte balance within the water, because hydration is more than just water. Yep. You need electrolytes with that. Definitely. For the intracellular flux, pushing things into a cell.
I would say that Element has helped us with hydration astronomically, getting the electrolytes into the body, especially after a training session, or inside of a training session. Has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium.
Yes,
and it has some calcium in there too as well. So
I would you can look at like peri-training workout window. Yeah. Right. So pre-workout. Sodium, 100%, everybody loves their sodium, the pump they feel and stuff, whatever, from the training perspective, and just helping the hydration of the cell. But obviously sodium, potassium pump, they need to be in a ratio. So I'd say the sodium is definitely really vital, and intra, like during. Post, you have to look at the balance between sodium and potassium. So it needs typically 2-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1 ratio. I like 1-to-1. And potassium, that's where, from the food perspective, with something like this, that foods and fruits and vegetables that are high in potassium to help balance this out for a total electrolyte balance after the fact, because you depleted all this. You don't want to just replenish one thing, but 100% pre and during. Great thing to keep hydration in the cell.
Love it. Check it out. Box down below to get one for free. Check out the link in the description. So if you want to find out more, listen more to my man Alan here, trust me, you're going to want to listen up because he's dropping some knowledge. Check out the podcast. It'll be available next week on the podcast channel. Also, let them know where they can find you.
Instagram's easiest, Alan_IFBB Pro. That's probably put most of my educational content out. The company is MaximumPerformanceHealth.com.
All right, there you guys have it. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification, hit the like button, because I know you're going to like this video. And I'll see you again next time. Peace.